Hello, everyone. This might be the most chipper that you ever hear my voice on this show. I am, of course, your Dungeon Master, Ben Hamlin, and I am sitting down with Matty, Ezra, and Nikki here. I almost
Okay,
said Z. Boy, fuck.
just two Ezras and no Nickies.
A family,
A family
can be two Ezras.
Matty.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, bye.
A family can be two Ezras, one Matty, and Nick.
I guess I agree.
And looks at smudge writing on hand. Ezra again?
I have three
Not
friends.
feeling very loved right now.
I have three friends. What are their names?
Well, I mean, it's Helena, Ezra, and Eddie.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a Twitter exclusive joke. If you're on Twitter.
Okay, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. All right. Not incorrect there either, I don't think.
No, you're really not.
Getting off to a raucous start.
A real rocky, yeah, boy. What is a podcast? Is it for
It's
chuckle
not-
fucks just
Yeah.
enjoying their own jokes?
Yeah, I think that's exactly that's all my
That's-
podcasts
that's
are,
what
as far as I
Sneeble
can
is.
tell. Yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. This might be the most chipper you ever hear my voice. This is a ParaScience bonus episode, a behind-the-scenes special summarizing basically how we got up to this point and, kind of what we're planning going forward. I'd like to offer everyone insights into what happened in our first chapter. I am your dungeon master, your game master, your haunted disembodied voice, Ben Hamlin. I am joined by my fantastic ParaScience players, Matty Trumbo-Gomes, Ezra Kaye, and Nick Boylan. And I just wanted to kind of have an informal discussion with truly some of my best tabletop players ever. That was a compliment, actually. I don't know why.
No, don't take the compliment. I meant it in a professional business sense.
A professional business sense. Here's my card. Don't call me. But yeah, I just figured that we could all sit down, and I know we've had a pretty fun time recording this show so far, and just talk about, character decisions, what we like about horror, what we've enjoyed about what we've done so far, and all that jazz. So y'all down for that?
Yeah.
So first things first, I guess, some background on the show. Weirdly came into early pre-production around the time pre-production for Legends of Laia started. Which is a little wild because I consider those like vastly different like eras of work, even though they're only like, I mean, the pre-production happened around the same time, but in ParaScience launched maybe 5 months after Laia.
Right. Yeah.
But I would have, if you don't make me do the math, I'll be like, oh, that was a year apart.
Yeah.
It does seem like a long time.
Yeah. Emotionally, it was a long time apart just because I think so much happened also in between the two launching.
Yeah, 2019 was a long and busy year.
Yeah.
So was 2020, but boy, it's been flying by.
Yeah. For different reasons.
For very different reasons. But yeah, no, I started hitting up Matty and Nick at the beginning, basically I think February of 2019. This kind of stemmed out of a very broad love of the supernatural and the occult and the gray areas in between. I had just finished reading the Amityville Horror. I am a frequent listener of paranormal shows like Lore and Astonishing Legends. This has always been a kind of a core aspect of my personality, is a weird fascination with the occult, the satanic, the paranormal, alien, otherworldly stuff, UFO cults, etc. And then, I don't know, I was thinking something along the lines of like, oh, well, what if we ran it'd be a very non-conventional tabletop game. But what if we ran something in a world that was kind of like Close Encounters with the Third Kind or the X-Files, or even something like Contact, where, the signals are mysterious and the lines are blurred between, what kind of whatever you might be dealing with. Just kind of a show where the mystery is the mystery, the
It's
lack
not
of
clear
knowing what
cut.
you're dealing with.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I pitched that to both Nick and Matty, and then Matty recommended Ezra for this project. And it was basically a very long road of pre-production because I know that I personally had a bunch of responsibilities I had to get done with before I could even start about like seriously recording ParaScience.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess maybe opening question being just like, what do y'all like about horror or don't like about horror? What kind of
Sure.
stuff, why does that kind of stuff appeal to you, and why did you want to be in this project?
Sure. Can I go first? Because I have a thought just like right off my dome piece that I wanted to say
Yeah.
before I lost it.
Please share the thought off your dumb piece.
Cool, thanks. So I was actually thinking about the timeline, and because it's weird because I feel like ParaScience also happened so long after Sneeple, but Sneeple launched in March, if I recall. No,
Valentine's Day.
it was Valentine's Day. That's right, because I went on a trip to Disney shortly after, and I was crafting Saint while I was on that trip to Disney. I did a lot of that kind of like personality, heavy lifting while I was on that extremely long drive. And it's so interesting. And also like Z and I had just kind of entered the Infinity Break sphere. Like I think Ben, you and I were like not super close yet. Like we were kind of just like kicking stuff around.
We'd known each other 3 months, yeah.
Yeah, we weren't like buds yet. So it's interesting that like since that beginning like nugget first was created, like so much has changed just in terms of even like our experience here at Infinity Break. It's just crazy. But I have also I would say actually for most of my life I hated all things horror. Large portions of my childhood I just hated it. And then I went to college and I had some friends who were into it, and I was like, I think this is something I want to like try out with my buddies because it's something they like. And once I got into horror, it was like a total 180. And I was just consuming all kinds of stuff. I was mostly into like monster horror, and then like Silent Hill horror, which is both monster horror and like psychological, and also like cult shit and like a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think also when you pitched this to me originally, I had been running a Monster of the Week game for kind of like close to a year. It had been on and off, so I had been running games where I was doing like horror light almost, but I was looking to do something that was a little bit more intense. So you were like, well, maybe what if I did this? And I was like, yeah, you should do it. You're like, well, I don't know. And I was like, you should fucking do it. You should let me be on it. I think you and I just have very similar interests when it comes to horror. So the stuff you sent me, like I recall a bunch of GIFs from a bunch of different things, and each one you sent, I was like, yeah, no, this whips. I love this.
Yes. I remember very notably sending you the one shot from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
Where the UFO just like whips over that footbridge.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Maybe not whips.
Zooms.
Zooms, yeah. I didn't mean to assign car culture traits to a UFO beyond comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sent you some other stuff too, and I think maybe a Twilight Zone GIF or two.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
but they all painted a very like interesting picture that I was really into. So that was kind of, it wasn't it wasn't hard to convince me to do something like that. Just because I've been such a big horror fan for, not a long time, but like it was very intense. My descent into enjoying horror. So
yeah, it's interesting that you framed it as a 180 because I am kind of in a similar boat because I've gone. The horror that I can handle is very selective. I can't do slashers to any degree. Chapter slashers. 1 is the... Huh?
No, sorry. I love slashers. There's certain ones I don't like but we can get to that. Please finish your sentence.
Oh, sure. Torture porn?
Yes, but I have a whole essay. I think I've talked about it on Steeple how much I hate torture porn. Not because it necessarily like the gore bothers me, but because I feel like it cheapens the fear. I feel like it's like this is supposed to be scary because it's gross, and I just think that's so like that's just so boring. And and it's such a like easy pick, and I'm like, do something interesting with your horror, please.
Right there with you, bud. But I have gone basically from only being able to read the synopsises for classic horror movies on Wikipedia
Mm-hmm.
To now doing what I do now, which is, I mean, I consider myself a horror storyteller to a degree, where I'm simultaneously reading both like the Mothman Prophecies and the Haunting of Hill House back to back. But I can only do psychological shit by and large. So stuff like the Haunting of Hill House, The Shining, cryptids, Welcome to Night Vale, to whatever degree you want to call that horror. Like that's the kind of stuff I can do. The second anyone takes out a knife, I'm like, nope, that's all right.
It's the monstrous and the mental, if I'm gonna put like a fun little label on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's for me. I enjoy it. Like I love Halloween, stuff like that is right. Like, but I think that those are just really well crafted. I think that there are some slashers that just aren't very good. I think it's hard to make a good slasher, but it's it can actually be pretty easy to make a good monster horror. I think it is. I think there's more room for interesting stuff there. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's interesting you say you did a 180 on horror, because I consider you a horror person between Monster of the Week, 2 Casket Land games that you've run that I've been in, your Dread. Incredible Dread game, at our IB retreat last year, etc. I was like, yeah, of course, Matty's a horror person, so that's interesting to hear otherwise.
Yeah,
or
no,
that it was different at a point.
I guess it not even 10 years since that big change. I played Amnesia, which that was a great way to get into horror, was playing what at the time was one of the scariest games on the market. But
Amnesia. It still is.
It's so funny. I've played Amnesia so much that it's almost comforting to me. Which I know Amnesia. Is so fucking wild, but I love that game.
Me too.
Nick or Z?
I mean, mine is like okay, let's see. How do I go about saying this? Okay, well, if the rest of the crew is like, oh man, I used to hate horror, I'm like, cool. I still do.
No, I know, babe.
That's my secret cap. I still don't like horror. I don't like being recreationally frightened. I just don't. That's not like a. I intellectually understand that there's lots of reasons that people like an adrenaline rush from something that's not real. But my like sympathetic nervous system is really, really, really bad at differentiating between you are afraid of thing that is not real and you are afraid of thing that is real. And as somebody who had an anxiety disorder, has a really bad anxiety disorder, that I basically was like running on like a low grade anxiety attack for like months at a time, to the point where I think I burned out my own stress responses. That was fun. Anyway, it's a weird, like, I don't like what it does to the parts of my body and my brain that I can't control. Like I'm somebody who, like, my imagination gets away with me really easily. And also just like, I don't like that it activates those stress responses that like I can't control anyway. And so like all of this seems like, well, why the fuck are you playing this game then? Well, other fun fact about me is that like literally anytime Matty Trumbo-Gomes is like, hey, want to do tabletop with me? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you even need to know what it is? I'm like, no. I just like playing tabletop with Matty, and like I'm really glad that I decided to play in this game, because I was not sure if it was something I wanted to do. I wasn't sure if it was something I was going to have fun with, and it has been something I've had a lot of fun with. And that's been really cool, because that's sort of, I wasn't sure how hinky I was going to be about this whole business. And Ben's been really good about respecting my boundaries, even if sometimes I don't exactly know where they are. Until it's like, fuck, nope, until it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know that I couldn't handle that until it happened, and it turned out that I couldn't handle it.
I mean,
But
that's how all boundaries are formed. We just record the moment.
yeah, it's just sometimes that's just like preserved for posterity on my hard drive, which is value neutral. It's like weird. It's not bad. It's just different. I don't know. I guess the one my kind of one exception to that is that I like thrillers that are set in space because
That is a hyper specific.
So
no,
you
but like I
only
like
Alien.
I like Alien. I like Sunshine. I like that
Alien.
dumb
Oh, I
movie from
love
like
Sunshine.
1997 that's called Event Horizon. That movie slaps.
Oh, yeah.
and I love Event Horizon. And I think what it is that I have such a hard time differentiating like my subconscious between like real threats and fictional threats. But if it's in space, like if the monster is like part of the, if like part of the premise of the monster is that like it's in space, well, I'm sorry to my like 7-year-old self who really wanted to be an astronaut, and my 16-year-old self who really wanted to be an astronaut, and my now self who really wants to be an astronaut. I'm not gonna go to space. Like that's such a, every it's almost like every other form of horror, like I can like some part of me can be convinced that it could happen to me, but if it's like, yeah, and like this is like out orbiting the moons of Jupiter, I'm like, okay, well, like that's never gonna happen, so this is definitely not real, so I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it takes. Yeah, no, that's what it takes. And then
that's so interesting that you have location specific.
Yeah, I kind of do, actually.
Now the gang has to go to space, Ben.
Oh God.
I mean, we'll see.
That's fine. Well, and it's funny that to kind of pivot this around, part of the reason that Alister is the analytical one, for lack of a better word, is that I like lore and I like clever world building and clever storytelling. So I like knowing what horror movies are about, like, because I think the plots are interesting and stuff. But I can't.
Wikipedia gang.
Yeah, like yeah, absolutely. I used to read the boxes of the VHS, like like the backs of the VHS boxes in the horror section of the Hollywood Video. Because it was cool, but I didn't actually ever want to watch the movies because that's too scary. And so Alistair's like the fact that I've built somebody whose whole thing is that he's supposed to catalog things analytically. I get to do what I usually do with horror movies, which is I just totally turn off all of the parts. Like, I have to look at them as pieces of film craft. Otherwise, I get too freaked out. Like, I have to, like, analyze them totally without an emotional connection. I can't, like, because there's no, like, safe amount of emotional connection. It's either, like, too much or nothing. And
sure,
so
absolutely.
Alistair gets to, like, do that. If I get too freaked out, I can just be like, okay, what's the like scientific observation response to this situation? So yeah.
Nick,
Yes.
you're my cosmic horror buddy, aren't you?
I sure am.
It's your boy HP back at it again with the fish people.
More like back at it again with the Mothmen,
Mothmen are better.
I like Mothmen.
Less dangerous. Less
of a horrifying racist stereotype, that's for sure.
Yes. More dangerous, less occult. That's a cult, not occult.
So I love cosmic horror and I love cryptids. And I pretty famously hate religious horror growing up Catholic. Not in like, well, it's only very specific. I can deal with it in writing and I can deal with it in like tabletop games, but I cannot watch movies that have demons in them. The Exorcist traumatized me.
I
And
think
I
that's a
will
pretty.
literally never. I haven't watched Amityville Horror. I haven't watched The Conjuring. I can't do it. If I know that if there's like any kind of demonic influence, I won't do it. But I love like atmospheric horror and cosmic horror, and I love horror games because I can turn them off and stop playing them for a while, however long I need to. But I got really into Amnesia, which was the first horror game that I played, and I love Layers of Fear because it builds its horror by creating an unsettling atmosphere without like the kind of jump scares that horror games are infamous for. So like that kind of thing. Like right now I'm going to start reading Haunting of Hill House and the Amityville Horror, because horror books are great. Like I read the Exorcist book and I loved it, but I will not watch the movie. Probably because I can control the visualization in my head and make it more or less scary. But my introduction to cosmic horror was actually a little more recent, like only a few years ago. But I got really into the concept of we're not alone, and in fact humanity is insignificant in the grand scheme of things, which has obviously factored heavily into the kind of horror storytelling that I like to do and create myself. So yeah.
I will say that also I think an appreciation of some of those cosmic elements for you and I both, noted comic book fans, might come from Marvel's conception of the universe.
Yeah.
Like characters like Dormammu and Ghost Rider, I know, hold significance for me.
Yeah, definitely those comic book characters that kind of made you realize that even the superheroes who are big to you are insignificant in their own cosmic universe.
Matty, for context, the Constantines of the world. Yeah. So let's, I guess, dig into each of your characters. As we've been recording chapter 2, we've kind of accidentally realized that we made body, mind, and heart in character form. We did not initially set out to do that, did we?
No.
Nah.
It's funny, Nick, that you're talking about exorcism, demon stuff is not your jam, because actually that is also one of my only things I can't do. I grew up around a lot of new age, hippie, women.
We'll use a Ouija board to talk to our dead grandma
No,
3
no,
times
no.
removed.
Not that. It was women who read fortunes and stuff. There were no summoning of spirits. In fact, there was a lot of respect for the dead, as it were. But that meant that there were times where I grew up in houses that we believed were haunted. Whether or not that's true, who knows? But I grew up with people who believed that was possible. And I had some unnerving experiences, and as such, it's hard for me to separate the idea of that demons and ghosts don't exist, because I'm like, but what if they do?
I mean, there's not enough proof to say they don't. I mean,
right.
I mean, also if you, whether or not you've turned from any kind of church you were a part of, if you grew up that way, it's so deeply ingrained in your brain that you're like, okay, but if it is real, I'd rather be safe than sorry, and not invite that kind of shit into my life.
Exactly. And for me, I think, well, part of it is I was watching, actually, with Z, I watched a couple episodes of the Exorcist TV show, which was actually not hard for me to handle, considering I've never seen the movie and I never want to see the movie. But part of what my creation of Saint was is I wanted to confront the fact that this was a kind of horror that was so scary for me. And I was that was something I wanted to kind of grapple with. And also, his thing is that he's an exorcist who doesn't believe in God, and doesn't know if God exists, and yet it's confronted with demons all the time. So that was also me getting into my own kind of complex feelings about religion. And like I liked the idea that at some point and in points in his past, Saint has dealt with demons who are like, when you go to the other side, what will happen to you? What will be waiting for you? You don't think that God exists, but you know that we do.
Right.
And I think that is something that is like a very real fear for him. There were some other things that I was thinking about, but that was kind of a core of where I started. Is I was like, wouldn't it be interesting to have an exorcist who grapples with religion in a very real way? And also, I wanted to bring in the idea of like so many different cultures and religions. Like we all have song, and music is so evocative that I thought instead of like using like prayer or chant for someone who doesn't believe in God, that wouldn't be effective. But what would be effective is the emotion that music brings up for so many people. That was the nugget. It was kind of a deep nugget that I found that I wanted to play with, but that was where Saint came from.
It's a good nug.
I wish I could remember over what medium I initially pitched the show to each of you. I mean, I guess it would be Twitter.
For me, it was Twitter.
Two of you.
Yeah.
I think it was Facebook Messenger for me.
Yeah. Because I want to go back, because I remember I sent you each like, basically a small list of archetypes of like characters with professions that frequently occur in horror stories. So not just like teenager,
right?
Teenager that gets stabbed in the swamp or whatever, but like, a man in black, a priest, a full, a ghostbuster, a private paranormal investigator, fuck him, but a Lovecraftian detective character, and like, I mean, it's interesting. We don't have a priest on the team, but also, yeah, we kind of do.
Right. I think that I'm looking in our Discord DMs, so I was like, did we have this conversation over Discord or Twitter? And I think it was Twitter. Where I was like, what if I played an exorcist, but like not an exorcist? And you were like, continue. I had a couple ideas, actually. I had one gal I was thinking about playing who was a legitimate psychic. But
psychic.
She was like a legitimate psychic, but she did fake ghost readings. She like essentially conned people out of money. But she could actually literally communicate with ghosts. She just was like, I'm not using that on rich people. I'm just going to take all their money instead. That was the Saint that almost was. She was great. I actually liked that character a lot, but I got really attached to Saint like really quickly. So that's what happened.
It's because he's a good lad.
He's I was really I was pretty proud of the work I put in on him. And he's kind of taken some turns I didn't really expect when I first created him. But I'm really excited about them. And I'm really excited about his relationship with the other two hunters, especially with Z's character, because Z and I always play like best friends in tabletop. Shocking. So to have two characters that are so different and different in ways that don't get along is like a really fun experiment. I'm excited to see where that goes.
In our hella short-lived Pathfinder game, siblings.
Yeah, like best friends, siblings. I don't think we've ever. I was like, did we ever play characters that like dated? I don't think we did.
No.
But we've always played like either like family members or people who were essentially family members. Yeah. So to play antagonists is not antagonists, but like people who butt heads is like really fun.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
And I definitely want to ask about that later, because you two left chapter 1 on not very even footing with each other.
Right.
And I want to explore that later.
Yeah.
But I guess speaking of Alister Graham McAndrews.
Yeah. This is this funny thing that I did that my brain does where once I've like spent enough time fleshing out an idea, I have absolutely no goddamn idea where it came from. It just like has always exist. I get to this thing where it's like, oh, like no, that's like always existed in my head. My brain is, we've always been at war with Eurasia. Sorry, I hate 1984. I don't know why I said that. I would have to go back and look. I'm sorry. I like did a little poking before we started recording to be like, what was the genesis of the Alistair idea, and like, does anybody else remember? Because I have no fucking idea.
Oh, I think I do.
Oh,
I think
cool.
I think I presented that list of like professional archetypes, and I think you latched on to Men in Black. You came up with the Ivy League angle on your own.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. End. Okay, so you know what it is? It's that when I came up with that, part of the joke was I've never seen Men in Black.
Yeah.
Like I've just never watched that. I saw the dumb new one that they made, which was like, I say dumb, it was enjoyable, but it was very stupid. Tessa Thompson looked hot, so like,
oh, the new one.
That is the only Men in Black media that I have ever seen.
Y'all remember there's a Men in Black 3 that they effectively buried?
Yes.
That stars Josh Brolin as young Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh
my god.
Wow, I really, really hate that, like, kind of a lot. I wish I could go back like 15 seconds and just like not know that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I will almost certainly get over it. Yeah, so I went, haha, I've never seen Men in Black. And then I ended up kind of going down a little bit like mashing up Mulder and Scully. In terms of like, what if you, I don't know, I just like, I kind of bopped together a bunch of different things, and I realized in retrospect that I keep playing kind of quote unquote the smart guy. But in my defense, I do this because I like lore, and I frequently want to make characters who have a reason to know stuff or be able to find out stuff, because I, the player, like to know stuff. And then I kind of just like, I wanted somebody who would have kind of a set of skills that would get him into a lot of different places and make him a very like kind of an adaptable character, but not a con man, not like a bard vibe. Somebody who could still be kind of not necessarily like the life of the party. And then I was like, okay, well, like, what's the most like invisible thing I can be? And I was like, well, yeah, like a white dude in a suit. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, no, like that was the thought process, was sort of like, how do I make this character more like a mastermind rogue from 5th edition D&D than like kind of your standard sci-fi character trope. I've run out of sentence.
Well, I mean, look, it works. In the 2 chapters we've recorded so far, you have successfully just kind of waltzed your way into places under a very thin pretense.
Yeah. I like the idea that I just started giving him things that would make people inclined to assume he knew what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how I ended up with it is not clear, you know, it's never been said whether or not he has an Ivy League education, but you'd believe him if he said he did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he sounds like he comes from money to have, you know, but you don't know how much. He just sort of, he can look like a politician, or he can look like a city employee. He's very generic. But generic with the kind of authority that comes from, you know, white male mediocrity.
March 18th, 2019. Ezra. Hey, I need to come up with the perfect kind of boring, waspy, wealthy Connecticut prep school character name. Something where you're ungoogleable because there's 70 billion white people in New England with the same or almost the same name. Gender to be decided. Same day. Me. Oh boy, okay. You gotta add an MC to that. Vaughn is too much of a German villain name, but add a Mick or a Mac in front of that when combined with the right second half, sounds old money as shit.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Graham McAndrews, Alistair McDurnham, something like that. Matty. Alistair McDurnham sounds very good. Ezra. I like Alistair a lot. It's sufficiently old money, but also the kind of thing normal people would tease you about. Alistair Graham McAndrews, there we go. We named him in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's sort of, I don't know, that's how my brain works, is I shove a bunch of ingredients into the back of my head and then let them slow cook while I do my terrible monotonous job. And sometimes I get stupid but fun looking cakes, and sometimes I clock off and I'm like, oh, I have like an entire character for this campaign.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so Alistair Graham McAndrews came out of the weird pressure cooker in the back of my head all at once, looking like somebody who I'm really glad I didn't go to college with.
Speaking of which, we've talked about this before because the unfortunately, due to how difficult the show is to edit sometimes, episodes end up coming out quite later from when they were recorded. But as a result, we've had an interesting phenomenon where, Z, you don't remember saying things that your character has done.
This is here's a little peek behind the scenes, is that I can't type notes on my laptop because you will hear the clickety clack of the keyboard. Which means, and like, or pen scratching or something, because usually as a tabletop player, I have to take exhaustive notes about what I myself have said, because all of my roleplay training is for theater. And so I have honed my instincts to be, don't think, just say something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or improving in character is, don't think, I know how to vamp when somebody misses their cue in character, but it means that stuff just comes out of my mouth, and sometimes I'm not super sure exactly what I said if I don't take notes, and the logistics of recording an actual play podcast make it hard for me to do my usual note-taking stuff. So yeah, you're definitely right. I oh man, what plot hole did I accidentally weave for myself?
Oh, it was specifically in the very beginning when you just go off on your description of him.
Oh yeah.
You were like, unassuming, but has a sharp look to, or whatever. Yeah. And you listened back and you're like, when did I say any of those? When did I say that?
That was really good. You were like, oh yeah, no, like I really liked your character intro, and I was like, what character intro?
You were channeling actual Alistair Graham McAndrews.
So yeah, thanks listeners. There's the secret. I do all my best roleplay work in a fucking fugue state, apparently. Oops.
Are we talking to Alistair now?
Oh god.
Alistair, are you here?
Are you here with us?
Shit.
Ezra, can we speak to Alistair, please?
Nope. He's gotten frustrated with the file nesting organization on the company server again. We'll see him again in like 3 days.
That's fair. Okay.
If you scroll up a little bit in the ParaScience chat, 2/21/2019, Nick, I'm bored at work, short and angry, attaches JPEG. We have the first visualization of Jules Eugenia Ortiz. Nick, how did you come up with this tough little lesbian?
Well, I was watching this, and this is true. I was like binge watching conspiracy theory videos around the time that we were asked to come up with ideas for characters for ParaScience. And I was really struggling on what kind of character I wanted to make. but then I was like, I can use this time to do research, and I'll have my character be a conspiracy theorist. And then I like started thinking about like what kind of backstory would a character like that have, and I was like, yeah, you could make the typical, well, I just do this as like a research hobby gig, and I think it's interesting, or I could make someone who absolutely believes every conspiracy theory that she has ever heard, because of course it's real. And I had like a very specific image of like what kind of character that would be in my mind, and that was someone who was short and had like curly brown hair and like big glasses that are too big for them. Like that was the very specific image that I had in my head for this character, and it turned into Jules, who then through discussion with everyone else became like the dad lesbian.
There is a great moment in chapter 1 when it turns out all three of you have the similar pocket knives.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys are all just gay then. And we were.
The center of that Venn diagram is just the pocket knife.
Yeah. And then like I also realized in making the character that I would need to, that I had 2 intellectuals on my team, and I needed to not make another intellectual. So I made someone who would absolutely kick a fucking door down. Because I knew that was gonna like someone who like deals with things physically because she's had to in the past. So like you have the 2 intellectuals and then Jules.
For which we are most thankful.
Who's like, all right, boys, step back. Let me take care of this.
And we're like, yes, ma'am.
Let me kick the fucking door down.
Indeed.
Before we figured out the access of like mind, body, heart, a theory that I was kind of working up in my head as you all were starting to formulate your characters is that like we had a character who doesn't necessarily know anything. Sorry, Jules. Doesn't necessarily know anything, but believes all of it.
Exactly. Well, that was the point. Like, that was the point, was that she doesn't, well, also because, like, and this, I'm sure will come up when it needs to, but, like, her whole backstory is that she knows she saw something, but the response to it was to pretend that it didn't happen. So, like, in the back of her mind, she knows it's real and is then accepting everything else is real, because if she knows this one thing is real, what's to say that this other thing isn't real too?
Yeah. But as we discovered with the way you talk about Bigfoot in chapter 1, you don't actually have like concrete, you know, in December of 1982, we, you know,
you put me on the spot.
No, but like, I think it worked in character too.
So Jules, you believe in Bigfoot, huh? I just know he's real. So what evidence do you have? I just know he's real. I just know it.
I've seen him on the TV.
I don't have a TV.
I it's funny that it's like Jules is trust, Alister is verify, Saint is trust but verify.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a character who doesn't know much but kind of believes in all of it. We have a character who
knows some things.
Very some
specifically.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saint kind of does believe in all of it and is trying to document some of it. I don't know. There's just
he does not believe in Bigfoot. We have established that he does not believe in Bigfoot or aliens.
I mean, you also have a different aspect of belief. You know,
I will prove you wrong about aliens. I know aliens are real. The
cryptid,
government just doesn't want you to believe them.
It's cryptids for Jules, ghosts for Saint, and aliens for Alister. Or just phenomena. You know, hard to Bobby to beep beep. Or just, you know, phenomena for Alister. You know, you each have your own background.
Right, we have our own area of expertise, as it were.
Yeah. There's not a super pithy way to handle like that knowledge disparity, but I think it's interesting that you all have like different ratios of belief to knowledge. which I think is really interesting about these three characters as well.
I agree.
I'm into it. I think it makes it fun.
Especially because we created all of our characters. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, say what you're going to say.
We all created our characters like almost entirely separately. Like there was some discussion and there was some work kind of done at the same time, but the like nuggets of information we all came up with totally separately, and it just happened to work out that like this is what we made.
Yeah. I think I made mine last because I already had an idea of like what you two were going to make, which is why I decided to make someone who went towards the more physical side than the intellectual side of things.
So let's talk about chapter 1. Chapter 1, White Trees, Black River, so named for the birch trees that surrounded the retirement community, as well as the river of respect women juice that flowed upwards from the sewers.
Yep.
This story, as I think I've mentioned to you all in our private chat, took on a couple different iterations. There was basically a different plan for it until I had a legit nightmare about the monster, and then created the monster based off of that legit nightmare.
I didn't know that.
Hell yeah.
That's... No, I basically I had a spoilers, I guess, for if you haven't finished the end of chapter 1, you should also leave a review. But basically I had a nightmare in which there was something like in my yard, my parents' backyard, so a place I haven't lived in a while. Not to brag, I guess, I don't know. That was basically like kind of like a hole in the ground with like these weird, like fringy tentacles coming off of it. Less like straight up tentacles, like Starro from the DC comics or anything, which I guess is a starfish. Never mind. And more like just kind of like weird mossy tendrils, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And like, I don't know, trigger warning, animal death, I guess. Like little creatures kept getting close to it and just like falling into it. And I kept in this dream like trying to warn people like, no, stay away from that thing. That thing's dangerous as hell. And people just like, oh, let me take a closer look at it. And then,
oh my god,
yeah. So it was like a mass anxiety dream. I was like, no, don't go back there. And then people kept going back there to this weird growing hole in my parents' backyard.
It's wild.
So I was like, well, let's put that in a sewer and make it 8 senior citizens.
Write what you know, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So the initial plan was that, in chapter 1, you were going to enter this retirement community. Mr. and Mrs. Carmichael would be doing some basically age rejuvenation Elizabeth Bathory shit.
Damn.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
And then after I had that dream, I considered it significantly more interesting if there was like an entity that was essentially less malicious, but a creature that kind of represented the long dark tunnel to death. Because that's what that creature is. I mean, that creature is death comes for us all. It's gonna call to you eventually. And there's a reason it goes after senior citizens.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was a far more interesting approach than having 2 characters be like, not quite cannibals, but you know what I mean.
I am gonna be real here. I'm extremely glad that you went with what you went with, because the other one would have just been like would have like blown right the fuck past my horror threshold.
Yeah, well, I wanted to start with like, maybe man is the greatest evil. Ever think about that?
Yeah.
Why, old man Jenkins.
As we found out with the lost iteration of the monster fight, where I just like blue screened.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that.
No, there is absolutely nothing for anybody to apologize for. Like I said, sometimes you don't know that you can't handle something until you can't handle it. That's like happened to me many times playing D&D and stuff. I have a number of friends who would consider themselves horror DMs primarily. and I intentionally, I play in their games knowing that that's where their brains want to go, and knowing that we set boundaries beforehand, but knowing that like the stuff that my friends' brains come up with might be more than I can handle. And I do it because I trust them to keep me safe if that happens.
Yeah, for sure. For context for the listener, we did have a lost episode. One of us forgot to press record after like a 90-minute session. I am genuinely not going to name a name. But in that original version, which essentially encompassed the boss fight, that is now partially Chapter 7 and partially Chapter 8. Excuse me, episodes 8 and 9 of Chapter 1. I was a little more detailed in describing the body of George Sampson. In the version that we ended up re-recording, I was a lot more like you just see something under the water, and I don't really specify, I don't think, in the latest version.
I don't think so.
It's now been like 3 episodes since then, so I'm blanking onto how I actually described it since I've had to edit that. But in the initial one, I described like, a body.
It was specifically that it was like partially dismembered.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, that was one of those things where it was like me like, I like the television show Hannibal, this will be fine. Ben says that, me 404 Ezra.exe has stopped working. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, it was fine. Nobody held anything against anybody else. We handled it. It did no lasting damage. It just was like an interesting, I know myself pretty well, and like I know my kind of relationship to horror storytelling pretty well. And so I wouldn't sit down at the table for these kinds of games if I didn't think that like my friends were there to support me and having a good time, not to like fuck with me because it's funny to mess with Ezra. They don't like horror, which was like my experience growing up a lot, was like, haha, Ezra's such a weenie, let's like corner them and tell them ghost stories so they freak out.
Certainly not the goal. The goal here is to play off of our mutual interests and tell a weird suspense story.
So even if I don't always know exactly what I'm getting into, I know that I'm with people who like I trust. So that's why I keep doing this, even though sometimes it pushes me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's tabletop roleplay, baby.
Yeah, it sure is. But yeah. So that was, I guess, that was the initial premise, was that, it's the idea that like, death is out there waiting. Maybe it actively calls to you. But the idea is that that creature was sending out, basically psychic impulses, as you all figured out, to kind of, fall into this essentially like Venus flytrap that is waiting down in the sewers.
Come decompose. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if that's as scary when it's multi-syllabic like that.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, I guess you could do like come rot.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fucking spooky.
That would be fucking spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, ugh. But we don't know what's on the other side of the darkness. We don't know what's down in this dark tunnel, but we have to go.
Yeah.
Was the found, and anyway, I found that to be infinitely more interesting than what I was initially planning.
It ended up being so many of the details in that were so cool. The one that really got me into like the right vibe was the when we realized that the water was flowing up the slope and out. Like to get out was just like, yo, that was a cool moment, I think, for
I think all of us
players and character like translate into our characters.
Yeah. I remember there was a moment where Ben was describing it, and we had this world where we're like, wait, did he fuck up, or is it actually flowing up? Like, is it flowing upside down? Because we were like going, and you were like, no, that's what it's actually happening. We were like, oh
shit.
Oh shit. Yeah, it was really good. Ben's really good.
Thank you. I haven't figured out the total physiology of how that thing works. But
I don't think we need to know.
But who cares?
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
I mean, Alistair does need to know post haste so he can write a more detailed report. But anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I
he needs
actually
to
have
know
plans
everything.
for that. Wink, wink.
Oh boy.
So are there any moments from this chapter, either, you don't have to just kudos me, but like that you appreciated about how you all did it, how you appreciate how each other did it? What'd y'all like about chapter 1, I guess?
I think some of my favorite stuff from chapter 1 was the kind of growing connection of 3 strangers in the woods, who have like almost nothing in common except for the fact that they need to solve this mystery. You don't get to do that very often in tabletop, and that was really fun to explore that with 2 other people who I have played tabletop with and like trust. And especially with Z, because like we know each other very well, obviously. It was fun to play the like, yeah, but our characters don't, and so how do we navigate that situation? And I think I'm excited to go into chapter 2 with that energy of now we've done one thing, but we're still practically strangers.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an element of like, I know that you won't run away from the scary monster, but I don't really know what to expect from, it's like neither of them really know what to expect from each other outside of moments of mortal danger.
Right. We don't know each other.
No,
like,
not at all. We didn't even it's like we had it's just the way that those things have broken out is very interesting to me.
Right. A lot of tabletop games, especially with the gays, you guys get into an adventure and immediately like, all right, we're bonded for life and we're ride or die and we're family now. And it's really fun to play a group that's like, yeah, like we trust each other in bad situations. And I don't know your last name.
Yeah.
Like I don't know anything about you as a person. I only know you as... It's like having work friends, but what if your work was like life or death? And also like I don't trust you necessarily. It's interesting.
Additionally, like, if we're comparing this to fantasy tabletop,
mm-hmm.
very frequently y'all are already in the tavern and you've been adventuring together for years.
Right.
And the campaign starts on like year 2 of your journey or whatever.
Right. You already all know each other.
I do kind of like the kind of, I don't know, original origin story that this has, where it is 3, maybe realistic origin story, where it is 3, Superman and Batman aren't going to be friends immediately.
No, yeah. Especially when we have occasionally conflicting interests.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to talk about that conflicting interest?
Sure. I think it's also interesting because I think Saint... It's funny because Saint really likes Jules. Like personally, I think he finds her reliable. He likes her, like, even though he's like, I don't fucking believe in Bigfoot, he like is charmed by her. Like he's like, I want to be Jules's friend. But with Alistair, I think they had this realization at the end of the hunt. Sorry, I played too much Boss of the Week. At the end of at the end of the battle, that boss battle, that our direct like core pieces where Saint is like, I have to save as many people as possible. That is my in Cortex, I think it's a duty. I had like a D12 in duty, and my duty was exorcism and saving lives. And Alistair's was essentially, I just need to record stuff. And it doesn't, like, it didn't matter that guy could have been saved, maybe. Where for Saint, that is like, that's the whole reason he's dedicated his entire adult life to this. They have very strong conflict of interest.
Yeah, they absolutely do, because like Alistair is one, like, I have to lock down as much information as I can, but 2, like, he might have to just eliminate the threat, and in a way that like minimizes collateral damage, but I think there's a sense that like it's like one person who might be able to be saved is like not that there's a calculus there that is very different than saints.
Right. I don't think we explicitly said like mind, what is it, mind, body, heart, like who is who, but I think it's pretty clear that Saint is the heart. And for him, that's the whole reason why he got in. This isn't coming. His backstory's not come up yet, but that's the whole reason he got into exorcism. Was to save people's lives, and like save their families and shit. Like it's not worth it to him if people don't get out of it alive and happy. For him, like there's no acceptable collateral damage. If somebody died, you failed.
Yeah. Not just preventing future harm, but rescuing those who have already fallen to it, maybe.
Right, exactly.
Especially with this monster where it wasn't clear if George could be saved.
Right, yeah. But I think Saint, the issue is like he didn't even get the chance to try. Because sometimes he accepts that like sometimes people cannot be saved. And that is awful to him, but he didn't get the chance to try. And Alistair didn't think that it was worth mentioning. I think for him, that was like, oh, you and I are like, I can't trust you, because you don't like have the like. It's very much like you don't have a heart, but like that's not true. He's just like, your job and my job are just on opposite ends of the scale, and I can't trust that you're gonna let me do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, Z, go ahead.
No, it's that like, you just have different ethics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we also... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, no, so you do this thing where, like, you know, Saint's looking at Alistair like he's heartless, and Alistair's looking at Saint like he's a liability.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if maybe part of that is just because of the nature of our jobs. You work for a government agency, and I'm essentially a freelancer. So I have the flexibility to be able to do more stuff like that, where as you have to crunch the numbers just due to the nature of your job. It's interesting because it's not either of our faults. Like I don't think either of them is necessarily wrong.
No, I don't think so either.
But for them, it's very black and white, this particular issue. And then Jules is just there, like, you know, what do I do with these two idiots? I don't know. I'm excited for us to eventually, excited and low-key dreading eventually we're going to have to RP some, like, blowout fight.
Yeah.
Who knows when that is going to come up, and maybe we'll figure this out before it gets to that point, but I could easily see it getting to the point where they are just in each other's faces. Like, you know, I think I do think Saint will throw out the word like heartless in there. I think that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be, and also sad because you're my best friend and I love you.
I love you too. It's going to be, yeah. What was it? Right. No, this is the last Sneeple episode where I made a joke that if you put any combination of, it's mostly Matty and I, in a room,
I'm just mean to Helena.
Yeah, because you and Helena are just like mean to each other. But if you put Matty and I in a room, there's like a nuclear half-life of jokes until we get gay on main at one another.
Mm-hmm.
Recorded in the latest audio visualizer that we put on our social media channel.
Yes,
yeah, that's what. Yeah. No, it's gonna be, you know, I wouldn't. I feel like you and I can put ourselves in those kind of like I'm looking forward to seeing where these characters go, because I know that you and I trust each other and love each other so much that like we don't have to hold back,
right?
As our characters, like we're never gonna be worried about hurting each other's real feelings,
right? Yes, I think that's I think that's something that for this show works very well. That's something that in tabletop I think is really important. And this is just, once again, I come from a theater background. Z and I both do, and that's why we talk about tabletop like this.
Yeah.
but I very much trust everyone at this table as a scene partner, as it were, and as like group storytellers. Because this is a tabletop show, but it's very, very much based in telling a story. And I think that it's so like cool and also necessary that we all, like, all four of us, like, trust each other as storytellers. Otherwise, this just wouldn't fucking work, especially for horror. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, big agree.
See, this is really interesting for me because I was like, I'm gonna make a character who no one is gonna take seriously. And then, like, totally surprised me because Saint actually bought in to, like, started trying to befriend Jules, and I was, like, not ready for it. And I was like, oh god, how I did not think this was... I was like, how am I wanted to make a character that no one was gonna take seriously. Like, she has this forbidden knowledge, but no one will take it seriously. And then Saint's like, yeah, that's nice, Jules. That's really great.
Fucking super.
I support you.
Yeah, and then Jules met the one person who was going to look at her and be like, I don't know if I agree with you, but I'm going to trust that you know what's best. I mean, to be fair, you also found the one person who, like, his whole job is something that, like, most people don't fucking take seriously. So,
yeah, absolutely.
You know.
And then on the other hand, there's Alister, who is a man in black, something that Jules virulently distrusts and hates. So I'm like she's working with him because she has to, because there's like, if anyone is gonna bring her closer to the truth, it might be someone behind the scenes. But don't you look at her the wrong way, or she'll shoot you.
Right.
I'm just waiting for the moment where Jules, like, ends up tasing Alister or something.
That moment in the last episode where the doorman guy was, like, looking weird at Jules, and then we were like, is he discriminating? And he's like, no, it's because she has crazy eyes.
No, Nick, it's because your character looks like a serial killer.
She's a powerful woods lesbian who loves Bigfoot, and also she's got kind of a look about her.
It's the glasses, they're kind of, like, askew.
Right, yes, stay tuned for the upcoming first episode of Chapter 2 of ParaScience.
Right.
Nick, I was wondering, you got a couple moments to be a bit of an action hero during Chapter 1, but I was kind of wondering how you dealt with basically stepping into this story not being there for an express purpose. Like, these motherfuckers came into your house.
Literally did. They walked, like, I was just there minding my own business, sitting in a tree, holding my gun, minding my own business, being gay.
Ma'am. Ma'am, we are here to investigate a ghost in your house.
The whole forest is my house.
But
I'm the woods lesbian.
You and I talked basically that, like, oh yeah, you are for reasons we'll eventually get into in this story, hermiting.
Yeah, I'm in hiding.
As opposed to kermiting, which we all are.
And yeah, so me getting into this for no reason, I was like, okay, so what is the reason? And this is actually probably my favorite moment from Chapter 1, like, the whole horror thing outstanding, because all of those were really cool. But is when Jules was talking with Saint and Alister for the first time, and they're like, what are you doing up here with this gun in this tree? And she's like, I'm looking for Bigfoot. And in order to convince her to go with them, Saint says, or no, I think it was Alister who says,
yes,
well, it might be Bigfoot. And that was all she needed. It might be Bigfoot, so I'll walk into the radioactive military place, because it might be Bigfoot.
It might be Bigfoot.
It might be Bigfoot, Jules.
Right. And I love that we just knew her so well off the bat that, like, hey, what's gonna get this woman who knows these woods really well to come work with us? What if we tell her it could be Bigfoot? And it fucking worked.
Yeah, and then I got to kick down doors for you and haul you up by a rope, which was fun.
And it whipped. Yeah,
and shoot your shotgun at an entity just called the anemone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is why this next chapter is going to be personally scary for me. Mm-hmm. I have no defenses.
Please don't bring your shotgun into the hotel.
Jules, leave the shotgun in the car. Just leave the gun in the... Please put it away. No, but what if I see a ghost? Jules, what are you going to do? Shoot the ghost. I'll shoot a ghost. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
As we look directly at our promotional art, which we'll be releasing soon.
Yeah.
It's good.
But yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting, yeah, that like we decided you are going to be a hermit, and it's the previous search parties that have been looking for these two men that have caused you to investigate the retirement community you kind of happen to live next to. And then you happen to find the two investigators who are on the hunt for this weird alien entity.
That's a big coincidence. Mm-hmm. I think Bigfoot smiled on me that day.
No.
Oh, I like that you're deifying him at this point.
He's my best friend.
Wow.
Actually, friendship with Bigfoot ended. Saint is my best friend now.
Hell yeah.
Yo! Alright, cool. Alistair will just be over here taking notes.
I don't trust you. You work for that government.
Oh, that's fair. Mm-hmm. You probably shouldn't trust Alistair, honestly.
Can't Mansley, you work for the government.
Which is an interesting it's kind of fun playing the odd man out in that situation. Mm-hmm. Just because that's fun, but it's fun for me because I get to keep secrets, but I'm also having secrets kept from me.
Right.
As a player.
I mean, so far nothing important, but
so yes. It's always an adventure.
The only secret we're keeping from you is that Saint and I gossip about you in the hotel room that we shared because I wouldn't ride in your car on the
also
way.
True. Oh no.
And also trans.
Ben is keeping secrets from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's the important ones.
Do you want to talk about our weird information dynamic, Z?
Yeah, I was wondering, I was like, how much am I allowed to disclose? Which is the Alister McAndrews story.
I'm making the fucking eye emoji right now with my real face. I'm like, hold on, are there secrets?
Oh yeah.
So, one of you are the main character, but Alistair has connections. So okay. Last September, after we recorded the pilot, I want to say, and before we recorded the second episode, or maybe it was all before the pilot. Do you recall?
Oh, Ben, my beloved friend and podcast producer, me and timelines of my own life get along like oil and water.
All right. Well, happy 4th birthday.
I mean, yeah, I just celebrated my 7th birthday, so that's
cheers, everyone. Okay. Well, either before everything or after the pilot, you and I had a phone call. Lasted about a half hour, in which we got into basically how to meta play Alistair together.
Yeah.
Because Alistair is in a situation where he knows way more than the other two because he has a massive background of training, case studies, access to databases, etc., that neither of the other two of you do.
Right.
Saint has notebooks of notes that he's taken.
Right.
And Jules has memory problems.
Yeah.
So, not quite equivalent. So, yeah, we were discussing, like, how do we play a character that has, like, access to knowledge without that character just being, like, Wikipedia? Mm-hmm. And how do we determine on the fly what knowledge gets dispersed when, while still keeping things a mystery? And also the idea that both as the dungeon master and literally as an NPC, the person who plays the NPCs, I am playing Alistair's handler.
Yeah.
Who both metatextually and very literally dispenses knowledge and reports to them. And that was just like a really interesting conversation about like how do I just not overpower you with knowledge by making you the capital K know-it-all.
Yeah, Alistair is playing him is very much a collaboration with Ben, almost weirdly in the way like a warlock in D&D is a collaboration with the DM.
Oh.
Where you have a character who has access to resources from and connections to an entity that they may but how much they understand or really know about that entity is really up, can be very fluid, and how much they think they know versus how much they actually know can be asymmetric.
Yeah, and in this case, that entity is the United States federal government.
Yeah, which is
demonic to a different degree.
Yeah, has gotten weirder recently. Like it was weird. It was weird when I made this character. He's not a cop.
He's a federal.
This is like saying Petra.
He's a federal agent, but like Alistair, he doesn't have the power to arrest anybody.
Yeah, he's a government field agent.
Yeah, he doesn't have like law. He's not a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, he's a field researcher.
He might pretend to be a law enforcement officer from time to time, but
sure, yeah,
sanctioned, probably.
Probably, we'll find out. But the thing is, like that's kind of why that's why I framed this episode around cutting off communication. So that you could basically have your first chapter as a character and basically not be able to phone in for assistance.
Yeah.
By literally getting Agent Gray on the line.
Yeah.
Which is why there was the... I mean, also, no shit, the monster that was radiating psychic energy was what was fucking up the communication grid.
One must assume.
Yeah, I hope that was obvious by the fact that you were able to get phone calls the second it died.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am interested in seeing how that plays out in future chapters where you will be in totally normal environments with cell towers.
Yeah, that is going to be it's an interesting thing, and I've definitely built some things into Alistair that will maybe curtail my urge to phone a friend. Because I don't want that, because it's such a thorny mechanics question. I don't like to interrupt the flow of gameplay to figure it out in every instance unless it's like a really juicy one. And so I like the idea of Alistair as somebody who is really conscious that his requests for information are being like cataloged and might say something about him as an agent.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he's kind of... I think he might be a little more paranoid than he lets on. Yeah, there's sort of... He's not... He's one of those people who keeps things very close to the chest, and so there are a lot of things about how Alistair's brain works that there are circumstances where they might be made more evident, which will be fun to play.
Because as we were talking about mechanic issues earlier in this special, that is a thing I have to consider, because this is so much more about just telling a story that a lot of traditional tabletop elements are kind of set aside. Like, how do you slyly ask me, hey, how much does Alistair know about the Roswell incident?
Yeah.
No. I mean, how much does Alistair really know about the Roswell incident? Or stuff like that. But even like, there won't ever probably be a shopping episode of this. I don't think I'm going to give you guys items in the way that, you know what I mean?
Man,
yeah,
fuck this,
absolutely.
I'm sorry. No one gets a +2 divine great axe.
You had me at no shopping episodes.
But I would like to rage.
I want to get Sane a new outfit.
Okay. Maybe shopping episodes in a different sense. But I mean, y'all don't
one of those button-ups, but with ghosts on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
yes, no, I'm joshing with you. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but like, you guys aren't gonna earn gold,
no,
or even USD. What are we supposed to do with all these gold coins? Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, kind of subduing usual tabletop elements in favor of this weird kind of half tabletop game we're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we go a while without rolling, and I kind of forget it's a game and not just like a co-improv thing.
Right. Which is
like
kind of cool.
It is very cool, and I think that the transition to Fate made that a little more. We're a lot more able to just to just go a really long time without just kind of spinning out a yarn together without having to roll for anything, because Fate just prompts fewer rolls. Not quite as many things have like mechanics or stats attached to them. You could just be like, can I do this? And it's like, maybe, it's like, that's reasonable, or probably not, without having to be like, well, roll, like go hunting for your such and such die and your such and such die,
Yeah.
Right.
At most, I ask for a fate point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So as chapter 2 rolls around, we make the announcement at the beginning of chapter 2, but I guess we also might as well make it here if you're listening along in order, that we have abandoned Cortex because we spent a good deal of time in every episode, especially when more complicated actions came up, scouring the rulebook for information or completely forgetting how we played the game even 2 weeks prior.
Right.
Because Cortex is, while there were a lot of aspects of it that I liked, including the quantification of social traits,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit of a jumbled mess, and it was causing more frustrations and less kind of narrative mobility than we wanted. And particularly, we kind of disregarded the rules toward the end of chapter 1 and got a lot more fluid of a narrative experience out of it once we stopped caring about those rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hence our move to Fate.
This is my anti-shout out. Whoever the person who was responsible for the layout of the fucking Cortex rulebook, just turn on your location. I just want to talk. It's bad.
It's not good.
I'm glad that we're not. Cortex is conceptually a cool system, but the actual user interface in terms of I need to read this book and I cannot figure out how the paragraphs flow from one to another.
Yeah.
Shit's rough.
Yeah, and it didn't work super good.
It's like early Shadowrun PDFs. Man, those people need to fight me.
It didn't work great for what we wanted to do either, I think is the other part. Is for us doing a mostly narrative game. Cortex is just, it was a little too crunchy for what we were trying to do. And also, none of us understood it.
But yeah, no, I really like the direction the show is going from here on, and I'm really glad I get to play it with you three.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
So I think that concludes this behind the scenes special for ParaScience Chapter 1. Once again, White Trees, Black River. ParaScience Chapter 2, Maiden Voyage, will be starting very soon, in 2 weeks' time. Once again, I am Ben Hamlin, your disembodied voice and dungeon master. You can find me online at Ben C. Hamlin. That is BenChamlin. Where can people find the rest of y'all?
I'm at @by_rogues on Twitter.com.
I'm Matty Trumbo-Gomes. You can find me at Boy Vandals on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm Ezra Kaye. You can find me at SS_Ophelia, and that is sailing ship. I worry sometimes that people think that it means I'm a Nazi, and then I remember that I have a bunch of gay Jewish shit in my profile, so presumably they don't, but I am at SS_Ophelia on
It doesn't hurt to publicly announce you're not a Nazi.
I mean,
think
yeah.
that's good, actually.
Yeah, I think there you go. This is my public announcement. I'm definitely not a Nazi, and you should definitely punch any that you see.
Hell yeah. Folks, you can check out Matty and Ezra's other show, Sneeple at the Movies, every other Thursday right here on infinitybreak.net. And Nikki, Matty, and I's other show, Legends of Laia, streaming every other Sunday right here on infinitybreak.net and twitch.tv/infinitybreakgaming. Thank you very much for listening to ParaScience so far. We hope to see you soon. Thank you very much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Something I can see coming out of that black hole, two luminous discs. For the eyes, it might be a face, might be almost but heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. Oh yeah, I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It glistens like wet leather, but that face, ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. It's so awful. The eyes are black, and they gleam like a serpent. The mouth is kind of V-shaped with saliva dripping from its rimless lips that seem to quiver and pulsate.